Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin tonight's City of Gardena regular City Council meeting for February 27, 2018. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Noting the presence of all council members.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything to report from closed session?
No reportable action was taken.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we're going to begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Ariana Booth and Damian Malganis. And immediately following that, if you can continue standing, we're going to be led in invocation tonight by the Reverend John E. Ward. So everyone, please stand.
Face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And next we'll have our invocation that'll be led by the Reverend John Ward.
May we pray. All-wise and all-knowing God, our Creator, our Father, we worship you because of who you are, and we praise you and express our gratitude to you because of the many blessings you pour into our lives with great abundance every day. We thank you tonight for this city council, for the leaders of our city. They are, Father, the civil authorities whom you have instituted to be your servants to do what is good for the citizens of Gardena. These leaders love our city and truly strive to do what's best for each and every citizen. We ask you to give them your insight and wisdom as they discuss and make decisions regarding the items on tonight's agenda. And Father, we thank you for the rights we enjoy as Americans, rights you have endowed upon us. But in this fallen world, these rights are not easily secured and maintained. And so we thank you for men and women who serve in the military. We thank you for veterans like Huey Mador, who have served sacrificially to secure and enforce the freedoms we enjoy. And Father, right here at home in Gardena, we thank you for the Gardena Police Department, led by Chief Ed Medrano. We ask that you would bless them, that you would guard them, that you would protect them from all harm. Father, we ask your blessing on our city council and on the staff that supports them. Give each one peace, happiness, and joy, and a deep sense of your approval of all of their accomplishments. Father, we ask now for your Spirit to preside over this meeting in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
You may be seated. If I can have our two pledgers, please come back to the front again. Okay, tonight's Pledge of Allegiance was led by two students who attend Perchie Avenue Elementary School and Perchie STEM Magnet, whose principal is David Bell. And both Ariana and Damien were selected for their academics and their citizenships. Ariana is the Perchie student body president, and she aspires to have a career in acting and in theater and movie and television. And she'd like the city council to know that she was very passionate about music and acting. So Ariana, who brought you here tonight?
My mother.
Your mother, where's your mom at?
She's right there.
Okay, everyone, let's give her a round of applause for bringing her out tonight. Ariana, is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you so much for inviting me here tonight.
Okay, well, thank you for being here tonight. You did a great job. Also tonight, we have Damien, who is the school's 5th grade senator, and his career goal is to be a paleontologist. Also, he's interested in art, like anime, and he would like the city council to know that he is patient and that he loves to read books. Very nice. Now, who brought you here tonight?
My mother, my uncle, and I have my brother and my sister who are here with me.
Where are they at? Have them raise their hand so we can see all of them. There you go. Okay, thank you guys. And is there anything you'd like to say tonight?
It is an honor being here with all of you, knowing you guys have giving me this opportunity to be here, and I want to thank you guys.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being here. Both of you guys did a great job here. So everyone give them a round of applause. Just let them know that they did a good job here. So thank you guys very much for doing the Pledge of Allegiance and continue being good students at your school. Thank you. Also tonight, you guys can go ahead and take your seats now. Also tonight, we were led in invocation by the Reverend John E. Ward, who's a senior pastor and the minister of music at First Southern Baptist Church of Gardena, which is located at 1025 Marine Avenue, in case anybody would like to go there. Reverend Ward has served as First Southern Baptist Church for over 43 years. He was called to serve as the associate pastor in 1974 and was officially ordained as the minister of gospel in 1976, and has been the church's senior pastor and minister of music since April of 1996. In addition to his preaching, teaching, and ministry and music-related activities with his congregation, Pastor Ward composes, arranges, and teaches choral and instrumental music, and is a freelance professional jazz trombonist. Reverend Ward also supports and participates in numerous City of Gardena programs and community functions. He and his wife, Nancy, have been married for 55 years. They have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 15 great-grandchildren. Pastor Ward, would you like to say anything? And I believe you guys just celebrated your anniversary about a week ago, right?
55 years
Correct.
as of February 10. Yeah,
Correct.
thank you, Mrs. Mayor. Thank you, all of you. I'm honored to be asked to lead the invocation, and I want to commend you for being a council that's rare in this world today. One of the few councils of any city around here who not only approves of public prayer, but actually requests the invocation of God's name and His presence. I'd like to say, too, if I may, I'm very pleased to say that Sergeant Huey Mador, U.S. Marine Corps retired, is a member in good standing of our church. And he's here with another member of our church, Trey Reed, who not only takes care of him, but cares for him. Thank you all. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause as well. So next on our agenda tonight is a presentation, and as you know, we now recognize veterans here in the city of Gardena at our council meetings. So tonight we will be honoring Mr. Huey L. Maders. Mr. Maders is a longtime resident of Gardena, and his military service includes, he was enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps in September 1949 in New Orleans, Louisiana, and served during the Korean War until he was honorably discharged in September 1952 with the rank of sergeant. He was a member of the 1st Battalion, 1st Marines, known as 1 and 1, which was activated in 1950 following the outbreak of the Korean War. The battalion was deployed to Kobe, Japan, and from there took part in a surprise amphibious landing and invasion during the Battle of Incheon, which resulted in a decisive victory and strategic reversal in favor of the United Nations and led to the recapture of the South Korean capital of Seoul. As a member of 1 and 1, Maders fought in the Battle of Chosin Reservoir, which took about a month after China entered the Korean conflict. It was a brutal 17-day battle in freezing weather during which Chinese troops set out to destroy the U.S. Marines unit and United Nations forces called X-Corps. There were heavy casualties, but the units and X-Corps survived. and were able to withdraw from the Chinese offensive. The evacuation marked the complete withdrawal of UN troops from North Korea. For his military service, Metters was awarded the following: Presidential Unit Citation, Korean Service Medal, United Nations Korean Service Medal, and the Good Conduct Medal. So everyone, Mr. Metters, please come forward if you'd like to say anything to our microphone here.
As Mr. Metters comes up to speak on the microphone, we also received, for those of you who are on TV, we received a certificate of recognition from our local assemblyman, Mr. Al Murasuchi. And the certificate of recognition salutes Huey L. Meddors, the United States Marine Corps, in recognition and celebration of your dedication and service to the United States of America, and with sincere appreciation for your selfish acts of courage, signed by Assembly Member of the 66th District, Mr. Al Murasuchi. And now our mayor will present the certificate from our assemblyman as well as our commemorative medal. Mr. Meddors, if Mr. Meddors, on back of you, the camera's up here, so they'll tape you from here so you can talk to the audience. No, you're okay on that side. Just face the camera, that's all. You're facing this way. Or not. No, it's okay. It's okay. Just leave it that as it is.
Can you hear me out there?
He's a true showman. He wants to talk to the audience.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words to the mayor, city council, and the audience. I want to thank you for selecting me as your honor veteran. I know that there are others who are far more awarded for this award than me, but I'm humbled by your selection for me. When we think of honor, we think of all the wars that came to us as a nation. And you would, if you would grant me your permission, I would like to change my honor into our honor. And I'd like our honor to go back a little bit in history when our forefathers and pilgrims and brave men and women came over here and what is now our country, United States of America. We owe them a debt of gratitude, and we forever owe them the honor of looking for freedom and looking for a better place in life. I accept this honor from you tonight on behalf of all my other veterans who served in all the wars. I accept it as an honor for them as well as for me, including those who paid the ultimate sacrifice to have our freedom. As veterans, we are grateful that we had an opportunity to serve our country and to preserve the freedom that we now know as a nation of people. Thank you for a few words, and God bless you, and God bless America.
And now our mayor will present the certificate as well as our commemorative coin, and we'll have a quick photo op on behalf of the city of Gardena. For those of you who don't know this, we're the only city in Southern California that honors veterans every single city council meeting. We've provided a memorial coin about this big for those of you who can see it on here at the City Council chamber, but we also have a video of today's presentation, which we will give to every veteran for a keepsake and for memories of the family, showing that they fought for our country and defended our rights for us to say whatever and whenever we want to say. So again, let's give Mr. Metters another round of applause.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Appreciate that. Next, we have a certificate from South Bay Cities of Government. Please come forward to present the certificate. I'm sorry, South Bay Cities Council of Governments. This is from Southern California Edison, and this is being presented by Mrs. Marilyn Lyons, and with the introduction by Kelly Fujo, who is the Director of our Recreations and Human Services, Parks and Facilities Department.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. As you are aware, the City of Gardena participates with the South Bay Council of Governments in their Energy Leadership Partnership Program. That program allows the City of Gardena the opportunity to lead by example when it comes to the quest for energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is not only good for the environment, it also saves us money. The South Bay Council of Governments provides assistance to the City of Gardena when it comes to performing audits for our energy efficiency. They allow us and help us with applying for applications for incentives and rebates from Southern California Edison and other entities. And through their efforts and with the City of Gardena's efforts, we've been able to save or realize approximately $50,000 a year in energy savings. It gives me great pleasure to bring to you, and I know many of you know her already, Ms. Marilyn Lyon. She's with the South Bay Council of Governments. She's one of our longest standing friends at the Council of Governments, and she's been with us for about 15 years as our liaison. And even better, I found out that she's also a fellow graduate of Gardena High School. So thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you very much, Kelly. It is a great pleasure to present to the mayor and the city council the gold level Energy Leader Certificate. It was a lot of hard work for you to do to accomplish this, but with your wonderful staff, we've enjoyed working with them, and you've accomplished a lot. This, as Kelly mentioned, not only is good for the environment, but it's good for the city's pocketbook. So it's a gift that keeps saving, and we hope to work with you further. There's one more level to go, which means that you'll get even higher incentives. That's the platinum level, and we're working with your staff now. We have an energy engineer that's on call for you and your staff with questions about the energy savings, and he does assist with the applications to make sure everything goes through quickly. So congratulations, and I'll leave this with your staff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have a proclamation here. This is Women's History Month here. I have a short proclamation to read. Let's see. Congress established Women's History Month in 1987 to recognize the achievements of American women of every race, class, and ethnic background that have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation. The Women's History Month theme for 2018 is Nevertheless, She Persisted, honoring women who fought all forms of discrimination against women. Honors women for their unrelenting and inspirational persistence and understanding that by fighting all forms of discrimination against women and girls that have shaped American history and our future. The month of March is designated to honor women who have refused to be silenced and whose lives demonstrate the power of voice, of taking action and being that meaningful and lasting change is possible in our democratic society. So March 2018 to be Women's History Month. And in the city of Gardena, we encourage all citizens to recognize and honor the spirit, leadership, and the vital, enduring contributions of women in our community in California and throughout the nation. So next we move on to appointments. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any commissions, committees, boards, or councils at this time? If not, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Does any member of the council have any items that they would like to discuss separately? Councilmember Henderson? Which item is that?
Actually, in regards to our monthly report, I just had a real question. Just a simple question. Nothing
Question,
on
or
the
do you want to have it pulled from the consent calendar?
Just one question, and then we can keep going.
Go ahead.
Mr. Acting City Manager, in regards to other billable delinquencies, is that an example like parking tickets and stuff like that? That's how we define that? I just was curious.
Yes, that could also include any fee, permit, et cetera, that has not been paid. And one of their focus areas trying to identify the leakage in terms of those outstanding fees to recover the costs.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or anything else that would like to be pulled? If not, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as it is?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Student Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Cascanian and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll?
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Planning and Environmental Quality Commission, there was no meeting on February the 20th. That meeting was canceled. We're going to move on to oral communications. We have two speakers. The first one is Cheryl Sherman, but I have a quick question here. Jorge Guadique, did you want to speak during oral communications, or did you want to speak on item number A5? Okay, we'll put that till then. And, okay, I'm sorry, Cheryl Sherman is first, and then second will be Harold Lewis.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Cheryl Sherman, Vice President of Friends of Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve, nonprofit organization here in the city of Gardena. And I'd like to inform everyone of our next stroll at the preserve, which will be the second Sunday in March, March the 11th. And at all of our second Sunday strolls, we have a theme. And at this upcoming stroll, the theme will be draw, paint, photograph, and write. So we are hoping to have artists there painting on spot. If you'd like to come and join them, or do photography, or set and write, any of those categories, you're more than welcome. We would be delighted to have you. The benches are waiting for you to partake, sit on them. And the flowers are starting to bloom. Just starting. The poppies are there. The poppies are there. So, and with this rain today, we're definitely going to have some more flowers. So the preserve is starting to look nice and green again. I also want to let everyone know, I don't say much about this, but we're going to be having a gardening class. We do have monthly gardening classes, and they're held at the Gardena Mamie Deer Library. And our next gardening class will be Tuesday, March the 6th, and the topic will be gardening with and for shade, how shade defines and refines a garden. And the classes are free. They're held in the meeting room in the library, and they're led by Dr. Connie Vodheim, who is an expert in native plants. So if you have any questions, you can always go onto our website, which is www.gardenawillows.org, or you can always give us a call at 310-217-0681. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next is Harold Lewis.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Harold Lewis. I'm a 10-year resident of Gardena. My address is on file with the city, and please forgive me for reading my remarks. I want to make sure that I don't speak out of turn. First of all, I would like to certainly commend each and every one of you for the tremendous effort that you're all making towards improving the quality of life for the citizens of Gardena. It is very, very much appreciated. My thanks also go out to the Gardena Police Department for their door-to-door campaign to invite the residents to attend city council meetings. Their campaign has resulted in my desire to deepen my understanding of the workings of the Gardena City Council. And just recently, through using data mining, aggregators, and artificial intelligence processes, I've been able to discover certain linkages and reoccurring patterns across a wide spectrum of city council meetings, agendas, minutes, and reports. It's almost, if I can say this, I'm a chess player. It's almost been similar to attempting to solve a chess problem. And three recent items jump out at me, Madam Mayor. And certainly, I won't begin to lecture you on the California Brown Act. Every California politician should be aware of how important openness and transparency are to our public meetings. The first item that I'd like to discuss is the fact that just recently, additional parking districts were recently voted into being. The public had been told on 2 separate occasions that I'm aware of that the cost for this measure was approximately $5,000 to be spent on signage. And on the night of the final vote, that amount jumped to over $20,000. I'm sure everyone is busy, things happen. I'm simply wondering if this was an oversight. The second item that I'd like to discuss was recently there was a moratorium on safe and sane fireworks. It was enacted in the city of Gardena. And it has been suggested that the city council has overstepped their authority and thwarted the will of the people. And if in fact, Madam Mayor, that's true, if in fact there's current legislation in place which states that the voters must decide on any proposed moratorium, that means that the recent city council vote is a major transgression. I would mention to you that the main point of the California Brown Act is that the public does not yield their sovereignty to their elected officials. The bottom line, that means that the politicians work for the people and the people get to decide. And finally, I would direct your attention to your current agenda. The California Brown Act states that the public can speak before and during each item to be considered. Your agenda allows consent items to be voted on before the public speaks. My question is this a way to silence discussion? Can any items voted on be considered null and void because the public wasn't able to speak on the issue prior to a vote? I merely seek an opinion from the city attorney after research has been undertaken. And I do thank you for your time, thanking you for allowing me to speak, and again, I thank all of you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis, were you asked to speak tonight? Did somebody ask you to come up and read that?
No, I'm here as simply a member of the public.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item number A1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of City Council, agenda item number 8A1 is a professional service agreement with Carl Warman and Company to provide third-party administrative services for the City of Gardena self-insured general liability claims. The professional service agreement will be for the period of February 1st, 2018 through January 31st, 2023. Carl Warren and Company has provided exemplary third-party administrative services for the City of Gardena self-insured general liability program since 1985. They are familiar with all aspects of cities' existing liability claims and are intimately involved in the processing and record-keeping of all of those claims. The existing contract has shown minimal increases since 2012 and continues with increases that are very moderate and reasonable. For example, claim supervision administrative fee remains at $42,000, which is only a $2,000 increase from the duration of the 5-year previous contract. Administrative fee is higher as a result of increased operating costs, carrier audits, carrier reporting guidelines, as well as SSAE 16 compliance, which is a statement of standards, attestation, and engagement, which essentially is internal controls and reports that are required, and they are continually to be more comprehensive and labor-intensive. Overall, the new contract increases moderately from $40,000 per year to $42,000 per year. The amount of the expense is $42,000. It's the general fund expenditure. What's required is the award the contract and authorize the mayor and city council to execute the contract as approved as to form by the city attorney.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? If not, can I get a motion to approve the professional service agreement?
So moved.
I'm sorry, what was that second?
Second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Cascadian. Will you call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson, Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to item number 8A2.
Mayor, Serta, members of the City Council, Agenda Item 8A2 is ordinance number 1786, amending sections 1.20.120 and 8.64.010 and 8.64.020 of the Gardena Municipal Code related to abatement of nuisances. This was introduced by Mayor Serta on February 13, 2018. It's coming back for the second time. In 2016, the Ninth Circuit decided in Mecamil versus the City of San Jacinto et al., prohibiting cities from collecting unpaid administrative fines and charges related to real property through assessment or a nuisance abatement lien for municipal ordinance violations. Therefore, sections 1.20.120C is being removed from the municipal code as a result of that case. Section 8.64040 would update to include an expansive definition of garbage and rubbish, which we are referred in several areas of the chapter. Section 8.64020 includes two additional nuisances related to inoperable vehicles. 8.64.020T is to keep any vehicle in a state of major disassemble, stripped, or dismantled in a yard, areas, driveways visible from the public right away unless actively being worked on. The following section, 8.64020U, is to keep any vehicle on blocks, jacks, visible from the public right-of-way unless actively being worked on. Both these nuisances are a continual problem within our community, and this will also help our code enforcement personnel maintain and monitor those violations. There is no fiscal impact. What is required is to adopt ordinance number 1786.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Acting City Manager, in regards to this ordinance, are we going to be able to notify the public other than this hearing that send something in the mail so folks that are frequent violators of the cars and everything, they know that this is coming and it'll be enacted, or what are we going to do?
Yeah, so there's a variety of ways that we release information to our community. Obviously, we do the traditional noticing, but also use of electronic website, social media. This will obviously have a slow phase-in period. Our code enforcement officers are very diligent by writing notices of violation, which is essentially a very strong warning. And those would be issued first. If there's not compliance, and the next thing would be administrative citations. That's sort of a last result when people continue to just disregard our previous notices of violation.
Because I can hand deliver a couple myself if I need to.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. That's the reason we definitely need the change.
Any other questions? Oh, I have a question. So when I'm looking at the first part of the ordinance here where it states that we're prohibiting cities from collecting unpaid administrative fines, does that mean that fines in the past, we're not going to be able to recoup that money back, or is that my understanding of that?
I'm going to defer to the city attorney to talk about the Ninth Circuit case.
Yeah, we can't do it by a lien on the property, but we can do it by other means.
So we used to do it by a lien on the property? Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve this item? Item number, ordinance number 1786.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8A3. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item number 883 is ordinance number 1789, reaffirming authorization to collect public educational and government fees. They're called PEG fees. This was introduced by Councilman Mark Henderson on February 13th, 2018. On February 13th, 2018, Council adopted an urgency ordinance number 1788 to reaffirm authorization to collect public educational and government fees, PEG fees, to ensure that there would be no lapse in the city's PEG ordinance. The California Public Utilities Commission recently renewed Charter Communications state-issued franchise covering the city of Gardena. The renewed franchise took effect on January 2nd, 2018. In order for the city to collect its fees, its PEG fees, the city needs to authorize or reauthorize the city's educational and government access support fee. The potential loss, if we do not approve this ordinance, would be $80,000 a year for the general fund if ordinance number 1789 is not adopted. These are not new fees. These are continuation of previously collected fees. The council action that is required is to adopt ordinance number 1789.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, in regards to the PEG channels, and I know we don't have a TV station anymore, but is there an opportunity for us to help some of our community groups maybe advertise or speak on their CBO and everything? Can we work with Spectrum on that or Charter?
Yes, we do still have an access charter that currently the city is running a sort of static slide presentation, which is updated. Wasn't updated not that long ago. Certainly, there's opportunities for more programming if we're provided the information.
So the organization would just provide the information to the city, and then the city will just post it, or?
Yes, we have a sort of an internal policy on what we allow to go on there. So would have to be some vetting in terms of how the public benefits from that type of advertising.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to adopt ordinance number 1789?
So moved.
Is there a second? Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Henderson and a second by Councilmember Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8A4. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 884 is introduction of an ordinance of the City Council of this repealing Chapter 15.04 of the Gardena Municipal Code and adopting a new Chapter 1504, which adopts by reference the 2016 California State Building Code with amendments, adopts by reference the International Property Maintenance Code, and adopts by reference the 1999 Uniform Building Security Code, and adopts by reference the 2017 Los Angeles County Fire Code. This happens to be our city attorney's favorite agenda item because it is a very technical agenda item that deals with California law that requires cities to adopt California Building Standard Codes. CBSC is the acronym set forth in Title 24 of the California Code of Regulations. The ordinance also adopts 2017 version of the LA County Fire Code, which is required. The county code is based on the CBSC fire code, but with local amendments. We did make some local amendments. The city is serviced by the Los Angeles County Fire Department and is obligated to adopt the most current version of the county code. They do all of our plan reviews for new buildings and tenant improvements, et cetera. The ordinance adopts by reference the International Property Maintenance Code and the Uniform Building Security Code. These codes are designed to facilitate code enforcement by adopting a code with more precise definitions and easy to interpret by limiting complex technical language and assist with designing buildings with security and defensible spaces in mind. There is no fiscal impact. This is an introduction of ordinance number 1791 and set a public hearing for the March 27th, 2018 council meeting on this item.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions on this item? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, in regard to this item, does this also incorporate the additional dwelling units that folks can add on their properties or no?
Well, in the sense that the standards would apply, but this is a separate item. This has to do with the technical codes that are the building and fire safety codes. So when, for example, our plan check engineer reviews codes, we have to adopt this by reference so that he can refer to the county codes that are required to meet the safety standards.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, can I get someone to introduce this item?
So moved.
Okay. So we only need one person to introduce it. Mayor Pro Tem Medina introduced it.
Mayor
And-
Serta, may I just bring something to your attention?
Sure.
Going back to, or if you're finished with this.
I am.
Okay, Ordinance 1789. We need to add the vote of Councilmember Kaskanian. I did not call on him.
Oh, okay.
So, Councilmember Kaskanian, for the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. She's so efficient. Okay, so I'm sorry, going back to item number 8A4, it's been introduced by Mayor Pro Tem Medina, and we have a hearing set for March the 27th, 2018. Next up is item number 8A5, that's Resolution 6310. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, Serta, members, City Council, Agenda Item 8A5 is a resolution number 6310 supporting the Drug Enforcement Agency's National Prescription Drug Take-Back efforts and community-based drug prevention education awareness activities. This is actually a program that we have been informally involved with for quite some time. A representative of the Gardena Drug and Alcohol Abuse Program, GDAP, and the GDAP Task Force informed the city about efforts being taken by them, along with a South Bay regional network known as CBC3, to reduce the amount of unused expired prescription medications in the communities. Official city support of these efforts and activities was requested. Pursuant to the GDAP's request, Resolution number 63-2 has been prepared for the council consideration. It expresses that the city supports the Drug Enforcement's city's biannual national prescription drug take-back events and the city's support of having prescription drug boxes in the communities for public use. Our city has participated in these drug take-back programs for a number of years. In addition, the city has, many years ago, installed safe disposal of unused and expired prescription drugs box in front of the police station. This box is located and accessible 24 hours a day to the community, and it is used very, very frequently by members of our community. In fact, it is often full right after a weekend of drop-offs. Staff recommends the adoption of this resolution by council to show further official support of these important drug prevention efforts. These efforts do two things. One, it helps our environment by not allowing the drugs being discarded down the sink or down the toilets and into our sewers, and also keeps unused and unnecessary drugs out of the hands from children for use. So what is required is to adopt resolution number 6310.
Okay, thank you. Before I open it up for council comments and questions, we do have one speaker on this item here, Mr. Jorge Guadique from GDAP.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City staff, and all those in the audience who ventured out into the cold today to join us. Without repeating too much, thank you, Acting City Manager Chief Medrano, for that summary of what the resolution shares. I just want to share some data that was collected by SBC3, the South Bay Communities Creating Change. It does represent Gardena, Carson, Inglewood, and other areas of the South Bay. I just do want to add on to this resolution that this is a combined efforts from prevention providers all over the South Bay, from the beach cities, El Segundo, down to Long Beach, Gardena, and everything in between. And I want to proudly say that if the resolution is passed tonight, Gardena would be, I believe, the first city to pass a resolution. I hope that this is really going to become a domino effect that spreads throughout the South Bay and that our other partners are able to also pass resolutions in their city. I do want to take this time to thank the City of Gardena, the Honorable Mayor, Honorable City Council, and all those involved. Gardena has usually been in the forefront for substance abuse prevention dating back when I was in high school with tobacco retail licensing. So thank you all, and here are some data for you all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Medina?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very proud to say that the drug drop-off that we have in front of City Hall or in front of the police department, I was very responsible for that coming in because I stole the idea from our Sheriff Lee Baca. And I constantly emphasize the fact that if you're going to drop off drugs like Coricidin or Vicodin and stuff like that, cross out your name. Because one of the things that it's really, really important, some of that stuff is out there in the black market, and they'll sell Vicodin, they'll sell Percodan and Ritalin and all that stuff for a high price. So please, if you're going to drop off those drugs, cross out your name and don't drop them off by themselves. Drop them off in the container that you receive them in. And please, no needles. We've had a few accidents where our police department has had some problems with that. And again, we're requesting, please, no needles, just drugs, just the pills or even liquids. Make sure they're nice and sealed, because we're trying to prevent this from spreading any farther, and hopefully, like he said earlier, this will spread to other cities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 6310?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item 8B1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, going along with our presentation of our gold certificate level, agenda number 8B1 is approval of Southern California Edison's Schedule LS1 Option E Energy Efficient Lighting Emitting Diode Fixed Replacement Rate Agreement in the amount of $1,181,282. This is an exciting opportunity for the city. Southern California Edison now offers an LS1 Option E program that replaces current technology, which really uses high-pressure sodium lights, and they are going to be replaced with more efficient LED technology. There is no upfront cost to the city, and built into the rate is a recovery mechanism that recovers the cost of the light and installation, which is spread over 20 years with no interest. Energy savings are greater than the recovery mechanism, so the city sees the net savings in a bill each month and receives that benefit of new LED light fixtures. The underlying LS1 rate continues to be in place, and if one of the lights fails, SCE will replace the LED light fixture with no additional charge to the city or costs to the city. Once the LED lights are installed, the city will save approximately $44,515 per year in an energy cost over the first 20 years. After 20 years, the city will see an additional $59,064 per year. Total savings after 20 years, which is the recovery period for the investment, will be approximately $103,579 per year. The recovery mechanism collects back $59,000 per year for the first 20 years to really cover the cost of the installation and the new lights. After 20 years, the recovery mechanism will cease and the savings will increase by that same amount and go directly to the city. Full implementation, the fiscal impact has the potential to have $1,181,282 via net energy savings towards the city. What is required is approval of the SCE fixture replacement rate agreement that is attached.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Okay, Councilmember Tanaka.
As I brought this up a few meetings ago, I didn't expect it to be this quick, but thanks to you and Joe, I appreciate the quick action to get these lights up, because I think it'll make a lot brighter and a lot safer for our people. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve the agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Tanaka and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Medina. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina, no, excuse me.
Tanaka first, and then
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8D1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, Serta, members of City Council, item 8D1 is acceptance and notice of completion of the recycled irrigation water installation project 2017, which is job number 927 by E&R Construction. This is the culmination of a lot of hard work. The project converted the main irrigation line system to a recycled irrigation water system, and what is a collaborative effort between the West Basin Municipal Water District and the Metropolitan Water District and the City of Gardena. According to West Basin, the City of Gardena uses approximately 4,300 cubic feet of water each year at Johnson Park, and will save approximately $1.75 per cubic feet for a total of $7,500 a year. With the West Basin Municipal Water District and the Metropolitan Water District covering majority of the cost for the project, total cost to the city was $53,170 plus $2,562 for a small change order to place some security cage around the backflow and assembly devices. In addition, the City of Gardena is now eligible for a rebate of $9,623, and staff have prepared the application to be submitted once the notice of completion is filed. Funds for this project, $60,000, were approved by the council at the April 11, 2017 City Council meeting and will come from the Park and Lieu budget. The $60,000 that was budgeted by the city is a small fraction of the total cost to run this recycled water to our parks. Not only is this saving the city some money, but more importantly, we are helping the environment by using recycled water at our park. The budgeted amount was $60,000. The actual expenditures were $55,732. The funding source is Park and Lieu funds. What is required is to accept the order of recordation and notice of completion, and to really give our city a pat in the back for having reclaimed water at one of our parks.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Councilmember Medina? I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Medina. My apologies.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the things that was omitted with regards to the cost, I'm very proud to say that along with Water Director Deere from Metropolitan Water District, I was responsible for bringing in our recycled water, and some of the members of the City Council were there on the ribbon cutting. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is that we negotiated with Roosevelt Cemetery as well as Gardena High School, who has a football field, baseball field, and a regular playing field, that they'll be utilizing that recycled water as well. So the cost was divided 3 ways as opposed to just having one cost. And I'm very proud of the fact that West Basin Water District worked with us, and also kudos to past Mayor Deere, who is currently on the Water Board, should I say, and also on Metropolitan. So that's one of the reasons why our cost is so low as opposed to what it would have cost had we taken on the whole burden as a city ourselves. And we're working right now with the direction of our acting city manager. We're going to have some recycled water along the Artesia Parkway, and he's negotiating right now with West Basin Water District. So I'm really proud of the fact that everything is moving forward.
And Mayor, just one other thing. I just want to thank Director Fugio and her staff. This was a major project that they took on and ultimately saw this to fruition. So they did a great job on this.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? If not, let's see, accept the project and order recordation. We need to vote on this here. So can I get a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Was there a second?
Second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Cascanian.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next is council items and directives and remarks. Are there, right now we're on council directives. Does any member of the council have any directives at this time? Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Chief, we were talking about, we're always talking about contracts and different things like that. Could we have a study session to demonstrate to the council Planet bids and how that contracting tool works and everything, so folks understand that if we're not putting our contracts out to local newspapers and industry trades, we're putting them online and Planet Bid so anybody can see them at any time.
Yes, that's a good idea. Planet Bids is certainly leveraging technology and really outsourcing our request to a broader audience. So it's a really good platform. We can certainly do a presentation to the City Council on that.
Okay, are there any other directives at this time? Okay, do we need a second on that? Is that correct? Okay, I'll second that item as well. So if not, then let's move on to city manager remarks in regards to directives.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first item I want to talk to you about is in each of your packages, there's been a request for a renaming of a city street. It's a cul-de-sac on 137th Street, adjacent to Ramona's on Western. You know, these items are somewhat sensitive. What I did provide the entire City Council is the request. A couple staff memos that talks about, you know, how these requests are processed, a map, overlay map of the area, the most current policy we have, which is not all that current, and some explanation of the applicant and the person they want to name the street after. We do have a number of streets, not a lot, that are renamed. For most of you can recall Watabampo or Nader Place, etc. I've not made a recommendation. What I would ask is the City Council look at the attached package, and if you two of you want to get together and give me a directive to bring it back for council consideration, I'd be more than happy to do that. This would give you sort of a good background on the process before and what steps would take place. The next item is there was a request for conceptual idea of what the city clerk remodel. Is a memo in there that, although it's not a great rendering, it's sort of a floor plan of what's going to be added. I will add that, you know, there's going to be some significant changes to our city hall lobby area with the removal of the current reception area, the changing of some technology, some rolling screens to provide information. We're going to have a nice kiosk there. We plan on having a very similar city seal, or maybe a little smaller one than that there, with the council pictures a little bit better presented, and just sort of more professionalizing and making the customer experience altogether better as you walk into City Hall. So we're all looking forward to the model there. In your council packages, there's an informational memo that was provided by Ms. Fugio regarding the wall that heals. I think this is a very unique opportunity for the city of Gardena. The city of Gardena is going to be one of 39 places in the nation in 2018 chosen to host the Wall That Heals, which is a mobile exhibit that honors veterans and preserves the legacy of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The public will be invited free of charge 24 hours a day from April 5th to April 8th. And there's going to be an initial opportunity for the City Council and others to get to look at that. We really want to thank Congresswoman Maxine Waters for giving us this opportunity. It is a miniature version of the Vietnam Memorial. There's a lot of aspects that the city is involved in. It's it's an escorting of the wall here. There's some educational opportunities, some volunteer opportunities. We're trying to have the Wall of Faces identify as many people as we can from the Los Angeles area that are on that wall. And you can request a name rubbing, which is very traditional and when you visit the monument in Washington, D.C. So we're really lucky to have this here. I know it's a collective effort led by Ms. Fugio and her staff, but I know all the departments are contributing one way or the other, whether it be security or infrastructure, et cetera. But we should be very proud that we're having this in our community. And it goes along with this wonderful thing that we do at every council meeting, is honoring our veterans. As today, some of these are very moving and I think completely appropriate. There's a memo in there about time parking requests between 2200 and 2500 Marine that was requested, and that information is in your package. Just as a reminder, there's a finance committee coming up March 1st, Thursday at 10 a.m., and the members of that is Mayor Serta and Councilman Kaskanian. I'm very happy to announce we had a vacancy in our HR manager position, but we just hired a new one. She starts next Monday. Nora Versellis, we're really happy to have her on board. It's a very important position for our city. And then finally, we are in budget season. So this year, as I mentioned before, we're going to be doing a couple different things, one of which will be a community forum on the budget process to allow community members to understand where we get our money, how we spend our money, taxes, and ask questions they want. And then I'll be followed up by a study session with the city council and ultimately a presentation of a budget for consideration by the city council. So that should increase the level of transparency to our community. That's all I have to report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So next up are council remarks, and we're going to begin tonight with Councilmember Kaskanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I attended the grand opening of State Brewery here in the city of Gardena, Normandy, and 134th. They have all kind of beers in there. The beer that I had, I stayed awake until like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was a coffee in it or some sort of caffeine. It was called Nicaraguan some sort of beer, I don't know. But the bottom line is it kept me awake until 3 o'clock in the morning. So when you go up there, be careful with drinking that beer, consuming it, so you're going to stay awake. On February 21st, I attended a Coffee with the Cops here in the city of Gardena on the corner of Artesia and Western Starbucks with our police officers and Torrance PD. A lot of community members showed up, a great gathering. A lot of information was talked about. And February 20th, I was going to attend the City of Carson's 50th anniversary, but I was unable to do it. But I would like to congratulate City of Carson on their 50th anniversary for the city. And I would like to remind our community and the residents here in the City of Gardena, March 15th, we're going to have State of the City, and I encourage everybody to RSVP and attend the State of the City. And Madam Mayor, if it's possible, I would like to adjourn today's meeting in a memory of my professor from El Camino College, Mr. Robert Rooks, who passed away on February the 14th with a heart attack. So I would like to adjourn the meeting in his honor, and that will end my.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Councilmember Tanaka.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also attended the State Brewing's grand opening. It was a great event. It was attended by many city officials and a lot of the neighborhood people. It was a great place. Stop by. They have a microbrewery that's pretty good. Did Coffee with the Cop. It was a great event because it was a joint effort between Gardena and the City of Torrance. So we had both departments there sharing information, speaking with the residents, coming out and just having a good time that day at Starbucks. So thank you for that. And then on Sunday, I attended the JCL's 2018 Day of Remembrance. That's the day that they remember the internment of the Japanese Americans. But this was kind of a special one where they actually kind of honored women and their role that they played during that time and what they went through and how they kind of kept the families together. And this being Women's Month, it was kind of appropriate that we got to actually view a video of the internment camps and some of the families that talked about their mothers and grandmothers that spent time in camp. So thank you for the JCL for putting that on. It was a pretty good event. So that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Next is Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, I'd like to thank my colleagues for adopting the tablets and everything. I think we're getting there. That's yeah. So I got the first generation, so I got a little tablet envy because everybody's got the nice big ones, but I think the city's going to have a lot of savings, so that's a good thing. Since our last meeting, I met with a group, California Consulting, and spoke to them more about grant development, grant procurements for municipalities and everything. So I will be meeting with them this week. And I was speaking at another event, and I ran across a group called Socrata, who actually works on open data interfaces as far as city budgets and different things like that. And I was with the controller of the city of Los Angeles, so that was something interesting that I was looking at that I'm going to kind of vet a little more before I think we present it to city staff to see if it's a good fit for us. I'll be meeting with them next week as well. I also wanted to remind the community that on Saturday, March 3rd, this Saturday, from 9 to 12, I'll be having my In the Parks with Mark. So In the Park with Councilman Henderson from 9 to 12 at Arthur Johnson Memorial Park. If it doesn't rain, I'll be out there. And if it doesn't rain too hard, I'll be out there. If it rains hard, the game is called, and we'll schedule another day. Madam Mayor, so ends my report.
Okay, thank you. Well, everybody has such short reports. I guess I can take all their time. Okay, so since the last council meeting, I attended quite a few events. The first one was the grand opening of Gardenia's first beer brewery, which was really exciting. And you know, as was mentioned earlier, for those who showed up there, if you missed it, I actually have a whole video of the entire brewery and the inner workings, how they make the beer and so on in the back. And if you guys want to friend me on Facebook, I show how the whole process is done. It was a lot of fun. And I was not up to 3 in the morning. Unfortunately, I don't drink beer, so I just barely tasted it a little. But it was a really neat place to go. I was just really impressed with the number of people who showed up there. And since that time, there have been a lot of people who are steady going there, and it's been packed. I've been getting a number of phone calls of people saying this is a really neat place to be at. So definitely stop by there. It's called State Brewing Company, right off of 134th. Was it Normandy, Budlaw? Normandy. Also, since the last council meeting, I attended the Day of Remembrance in Little Tokyo at the Japanese American National Museum, and I was invited there by residents in Gardena as we were remembering the Japanese American people who were put in internment camps, and it was a very moving event. And Assemblymember Al Marsucci was one of the speakers there, along with, as I mentioned, several residents in the city of Gardena. I also attended the Okinawa Association's monthly meeting that's held here in Gardena. They're a great group to meet with. They had a really good time in their meeting, and they serve lots and lots of food. If you're not familiar with Japanese food, that's a great place to go and kind of initiate yourself into it before eating at some of the Japanese restaurants. I also attended Career Day at Kemp Vita Elementary Charter School, and as always, I love doing the career days. It's interesting how the bigger kids, they understand what a mayor is, but when you go to a kindergarten class and you ask the kids, do you guys know what a mayor is? They always associate it with Paw Patrol. So, because on that show, they have a mayor, so everybody thought I was Mayor Goodway. So, but I still thought it was kind of neat. And later on that day, I had the opportunity to attend a special screening of an Atlanta congressman by the name of John Lewis. They did a movie on him, and what was really interesting about this gentleman, he has a relative who lives here in Gardena, and I was invited to hear about his uncle and some of the great accomplishments he's made. He marched with Martin Luther King, and he got involved in politics, and he's now a congressman in Atlanta. And so it was great just seeing the role that he played in the civil rights movement. And he's 78, and he is still out there fighting for the people. And if you go on YouTube, you can see how he's just calling out people who aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing in government. So it was pretty interesting to see the short documentary about him. Also, since the last council meeting, I participated in a women's panel at LA Southwest College, which was entitled Women in Politics. And it was pretty neat being on the panel with a former Congresswoman Waters. I'm sorry, not former Congresswoman Waters. I'm sorry, I just forgot who it was, Watson. And just kind of being in the presence of some of the other great politicians out there, as students were asking us how it felt to be a woman in politics and what were some of the struggles in getting to this position here. And also, I too attended JCI's Day of Remembrance with Councilmember Tanaka, and just hearing some of the stories from the ladies who were on the panel there was very interesting, whose mothers and grandmothers who were in the internment camps. hearing their stories just kind of really put to heart, what their families were going through and just some of the struggles that they had, things that we would never even think of, how families were separated at dinner time. The kids had to eat with the kids and the moms all ate together, and just not being able to be together as a family and some of their struggles. So I was very glad to be there and just learn a little bit more about that. And then later on that evening, I attended the City of Gardena hosted 3 beauty pageants this year at the Nakoka Community Center, and it was the 86th Annual Miss Los Angeles County Pageant, the 31st Annual Miss Culver City Scholarship Pageant, and the 20th Annual Miss Los Angeles County Outstanding Teen Pageant, and they were all held together. And this was at the Nakoka Community Center, so I attended that at the very beginning and brought greetings from the City of Gardena, and it was really exciting for our city to be able to host that there. And then also on this past Sunday, I was a speaker at the South Calvary Church in the South Bay area for Black History Month, as they were recognizing different politicians in Black history at their church. So that's all the events I attended since the last council meeting. I want to encourage everybody to attend tomorrow night's community forum, and I'll mention that in announcements coming up. And also on this coming Saturday, I have my monthly Mayor's Challenge, where I encourage all individuals to please come out and walk with me. I'll be at 3 parks this coming Saturday. Whether it rains or not, I'll be there. I'll be at Raleigh Park at 9 a.m., which is on 132nd and Van Ness. Freeman Park at 10 a.m., which is 1 block east of Van Ness at 154th Street. And finally at Johnson Park at 11 a.m., which is at 1200 West 170th Street. We walk at all 3 parks for 45 minutes. And it's not a strenuous walk, but the whole point is for everybody just to come out and start exercising, with the hopes that you'll continue doing this all month long. So that ends my report. We can also see the councilman in the park, see Mark in the park after you finish walking with me at the Mayor's Challenge. So we coordinated that. So that ends my report, and next up is Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last city council meeting, I again passed out cakes. February was a short month, so again we passed out birthday cakes to all the convalescent homes in Gardena, which are 7 of them, and I had a chance to drop off a gigantic cake to the JCI where they were getting prepared for the weekend, and everyone was very happy to receive that. And for those of you who don't know it, the cakes are paid for entirely by Waste Resources. They pay the whole bill for it, and now all I do is just deliver and make sure that all birthdays are celebrated at the convalescent homes. I also had the opportunity, and really it was a lot of fun. I DJ'd for St. Anthony's nuns retirement fundraiser, because they need money. Once they retired, they have a place that they stay out by St. Anthony's, and they needed to raise some money for that. Also had to attend some last services for Susanna Medina's sister Gracie, who passed away this Friday at 6 p.m. And this morning I had to attend a funeral for Mike Clark, which we're going to adjourn with today. And I'd like to ask you all to please attend tomorrow's community forum for the Gardena Police Department. It's going to be Wednesday, tomorrow, from 7 to 8:30 right here at Nakoka. And don't forget, on March 15th, we'll have our State of the City event. So please make sure you call City Hall if you'd like to go, because it's by reservation only. So please make sure you attend our State of the City forum. And that is my report. Short.
Okay, thank you. And so the 2 announcements we do have tonight. Tomorrow night is our Gardena Police Department Community Forum, which is Wednesday, February 28th. It begins at 7 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. It'll be at the Nakoka Community Center. And for those of you who don't know the address and you're watching this on TV, it's 1670 West 162nd Street. And the topics will include district policing, crime statistics and trends, and the goals for 2018. And then also we have, we will have on display The Wall That Heals, which is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Replica and Mobile Education Center here in Gardena. That'll be on April 5th through 8th, 2018, and it'll be held at the Mas Phu Khai Park, which is located at 15800 South Brighton Avenue. It will be open 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on Sunday. So now we're going to adjourn our memory in memory of Mr. Jose G. Velasquez, who was 86 years of age and a longtime resident of Gardena and the beloved father of Lydia Partida, which is the customer service clerk in the City of Gardena's City Clerk's Office. Mr. Velasquez leaves his wife, Connie, 7 children, 15 grandchildren, and 40 great-grandchildren. We're also going to be adjourning in memory of Mr. Michael Carter, who was 73 years of age, a combat veteran with the U.S. Marines who served 2 tours in Vietnam, and he was the father and grandfather. He was a father and a grandfather and a good friend of Mayor Pro Tem Medina. We're also going to be adjourning in memory of Mr. Ernest Williams, a Gardena resident for over 30 years, and the beloved husband of Mrs. Mildred Williams, who was a member of the City of Gardena's Senior Citizens Commission from 2005 to 2015. We're also going to be adjourning in memory of Councilmember Cascanian's professor at El Camino College, Mr. Robert Rooks. And also we will be adjourning in memory of Mayor Pro Tem Medina's sister-in-law, Gracie. So tonight, the Gardena City Council meeting will adjourn to our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 13, 2018. We are adjourned.